Okay, I'd like to call the Warren County Library Commission meeting to order.
Recording in progress.
We are in line with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice was given to the meeting. I'd like to stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now I can say we are in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Yes.
Adequate notice was given at the meeting. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of, roll call? Oh, can I have a roll call?
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Ms. Kenya?
Yes.
Ms. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Pascarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2025?
Motion.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Good minutes.
Yes, they were very thorough. Roll call?
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Ms. Kenya?
Yes.
Ms. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Pascarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes. Okay, moving down to financial resolutions. Can I have a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $227,602.05?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Ms. Kenya?
Yes.
Ms. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Pascarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes. Any communications from the commission? Okay, and moving down to public comments on agenda items only. So everybody has 4 minutes to make a statement, and the clock will be facing you so you can keep an eye and, organize your thoughts and know how much time you have left.
Except this public comment portion is just for agenda.
Agenda items only.
Kelly McKay from White Township. I have a question about what is the resolution listed on the agenda? What is that?
For the
about?
small groups policy?
Does
No,
CLAR?
the
County
cloud-
library access and
Yeah.
resource sharing. It's
Okay.
an open borrowing
Okay,
agreement.
all right. And then I have a comment regarding the bylaws status. Just a suggestion to add language. It currently says that commission members are appointed by the board of freeholders. It's not the freeholders anymore, we all know that. But I'd suggest adding language along the lines of taking applicants' experience and background into account. At previous meetings, there was talk of a few applicants for recent openings that were either denied an interview or, from what they had said at their comment time, were told that their differing values from the county commissioner disqualified them, and politics shouldn't really be a part of who could get on the library commission. So there could be language, we should all want the best qualified applicants to serve and, help it run efficiently and effectively and not be a political thing. And then a comment about the item about streaming recordings. At previous meetings, the library director has said that there's ample Zoom storage and the meetings are already being recorded while they're live streamed. So all that would have to be done is to post them somewhere, and Vimeo and YouTube are both places that you can post recordings that wouldn't cost, that's a free resource. And even though it's YouTube or whatever, you can control when you put the meeting up, when you take it down, who can comment. If any comments, you can customize it how you want. And that would not be of anything that would cost more for the library. I don't know what the quote, sure that will come up. It's the director's report, but there was a lot of confusion the last time in that being discussed, and especially with the IMLS federal grant funding being halted. If we're going to be in a tighter financial situation, it would be a shame to be spending money on another web service or new technology when existing technology can do the job. So just to, I don't know, just wanted to comment about that and my thoughts on that. And please keep them as a video and not just audio. It's really confusing to know who's talking when it's only audio. So just wanted to say that.
All right, thank you.
I'm just grabbing an agenda.
Anyone else?
Hi there, I'm Paul Escola from Malamucci. I just have a basic question. Are the bylaws, proposals or markups or anything available for like public to see, or will we just see it when we're all done?
They'll be posted, once they get approved, they'll be posted.
And that's
on
where
the
we'll have a
website.
chance to do public comments and everything?
Well, if it's on the agenda, you'll be able to,
No, I mean, it's the bylaws, so somebody's rewriting the bylaws, right? There's
Right.
gonna be changes, and then the public's gonna be able to
Yes.
see it and make comments on it. Great, thanks.
anyone else? Moving down to old business. All right, we have an update on the bylaws?
Speaking of bylaws,
Okay, so Debbie's gonna give us a status on the bylaws, where we are right now with them.
So the subcommittee for the bylaws consists of Lisa and myself. And in the past month, she and I sat down and met and went over several drafts. The existing bylaws are dated 2009. Then there were some drafts that were developed last year, and Meryl helped us get copies of. There were actually two versions of the drafts. And that's what we're working off of. They weren't even proposed. They were just a work in progress last year. So we went through them and discussed some options and possibilities, and eventually it will end up in a draft that everybody will see. Subsequent to talking to Lisa, a number of legal questions came up. I had a teleconference with Joe, and we went over, again, a number of items relative to what legal status on some issues, and also just recommendations, or really talked through some issues. That would be how I would describe it. So the next step is I have to actually revise the draft, sit down at the computer and make all the changes. And I'm hoping to do that in advance of the next meeting. Everybody will get a copy of it. And I don't think it's even going to be finalized at the next meeting. I think we're going to have a lot of discussion about it because a lot of issues are involved. It's just more issues than there were in 2009. And they were pretty rudimentary. I think these will be, in its final form, will be more comprehensive on a number of issues. So if anybody has questions, you can ask them. Otherwise, stay tuned.
Okay, is that it?
That's it for me.
And then the posting meeting recordings and streaming meetings. Is there an update as far as,
county IT got a quote for just under $45,000, so I said absolutely not.
And that was for what specifically? Refresh our memory from. It was for equipment?
It's equipment, software. It was probably at least 12 different things, speakers in the ceiling.
Okay, so
Yeah.
all the hardware and software.
It was for a lot and unnecessary.
right?
I spoke with Bob Seide from County IT, and he said he's got other projects right now, but he can look into maybe something he could put together for a much, much more reasonable price than that.
Okay. All right, so we're still,
So what are we doing right now, again, to refresh our memory? We're recording,
Yes. Yeah.
and then we're posting audio only?
We're not posting anything at this
We're
point.
not posting anything?
I
Okay,
had recommended to Bob, because we have this equipment, that we could post this. It's not as sophisticated as what they have next door. And I haven't tried it myself, but I've read that you can stream a Zoom meeting through YouTube, and the library has a YouTube channel. He wasn't particularly in favor of that, but I can certainly propose it again.
Why wasn't he in favor of that?
I think he might have had some sort of concern about the equipment itself.
Not being like,
Yeah.
up to snuff?
Functions now.
Right.
But that's where we are at this point.
Okay. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah, he said he'll get back to me again. I'd much rather county IT focus on reopening CDH at this point
No, I know.
than this
Yeah.
project. But he said he'd get back to me.
Okay. Okay, and then new business, the small group rooms policy for Catherine Dixon Huffman branch.
At the branch with the remodel, they added 2 small rooms, can fit 2 to 5 people in them. We're envisioning it as being available for informal groups. You read through the draft policy I put together. We kind of followed the same format that the county had recommended for the study rooms at this location. Essentially going through, you can make a reservation 1 month in advance. If it's not in use at the time by reservation, individuals could then speak to the staff about using the rooms. Contains the same things. You're responsible for anything you leave behind in the room. Drinks have to have a lid. You have to follow all policies for the library. No minors allowed. So it's very similar to the policy for these 2 rooms at this location.
Okay. But those small group rooms are not for tutoring, private tutoring?
No.
Okay.
No,
I mean,
It's hard
and
to-
that's what it says. I just want to make sure I read it.
it's hard to tell sometimes, but it's not for commercial use. It's not intended to run your business out of those spaces.
So.
Anybody have comments or suggestions?
Yes.
I'm looking at my notes, I think I had a question.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on, we might have a question here.
Sure.
I never reorganized my file after I dropped it, so I'm still. Clarification questions, I thought it was fine. And this all started because of the insurance issue, or is this unrelated to the insurance?
We require insurance when you apply to use the meeting room space and the conference rooms. So these are smaller rooms. You
These are
can't,
this is just for the smaller ones.
right. The meeting room policy is something different.
Okay. Let's go ahead, I can find it. No, sorry, it wasn't that important. It was, I could always, if it's a clarification question, I can always ask Jill.
Sure.
Okay, so could I have a motion to accept the small group rooms policy?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
And that is no discussion. And roll call?
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Ms. Kenya?
Yes.
Ms. Coop?
Yes.
Ms. Pascarelli?
Yes.
And Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
That will then be resolution 2025-6.
Okay, and then a resolution for the county library access and resource sharing. Did you want to
I
explain?
can
that?
let you know, we've been doing this for about a year. You guys had approved, or the commission at the time had approved it. We already have open borrowing agreements with Sussex County and Hunterdon County. So we've only had, I think, 1 person use this from Somerset County in the last year. So it's not a highly used service. But this is along the lines of, as I've mentioned before, like with Maine, we're trying to demonstrate to the state that we can all cooperate together, share services, hopefully be more efficient, save money in the long run. So that's what the CLARS agreement is. I mean, it's highly unlikely we're going to have people going down to Burlington or Camden County. It's possible. But again, it's just trying to demonstrate, yes, we can do this. It doesn't take a lot of money a lot of planning even, to come together and create an open borrowing agreement.
How are the books transmitted?
People pick them up. So someone from, for example, we only have one person registered under this. So I'm gonna guess it's probably somebody from Somerset County who works in the area. So they can drop in, they bring their library card from Somerset County, we enter it in our system. They can go through, check out the items that they want. They either can physically return it to us, or they could actually return it to their home library as well. And we have a delivery system 4 days a week between libraries in New Jersey.
It's somebody's driving.
A courier service, there's, yeah, the state helps provide some funding to Library Link New Jersey, which then hires a courier service throughout the state.
Got it.
Okay, so is that it then?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. Okay, can I have a motion to accept the CLARS extension, the County Library Access and Resource Sharing Extension?
Motion.
Second.
So who was that, Tammy? Ruth.
And any discussion? I just had that. And roll call.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Ms. Kenya?
Yes.
Ms. Coop?
Yes.
Ms. Pasquarelli?
Yes.
And Ms. Thomas?
Yes. Okay. Library Director report.
Right, I just wanted to highlight, to start with, that our program attendance continues to be pretty high. We're very happy with that. We have 2 full-time staff members who focus on programming. That's the big part of their jobs. And they've done a great job coming up with some ideas that are a little bit different and unique. I think they've gotten better too at trying to time it out. So for example, during spring break this week, they went ahead because we know most of the kids in the area are off from school and planned a number of kids programs. Today we had the pop-up planetarium from Pearl Observatory. We had a full waiting list for it. Couldn't even fit all the kids that wanted to attend. We did Earth Day crafts. We have a bad art night for tweens and teens. Doesn't matter if you're not a great artist, it's fine. Come out, have a good time creating something. And I think it's Saturday, we also have planned at our Northeast branch a community drum circle. It'll probably be a little bit loud, but I think people will really enjoy it. We have our annual bookmark contest for the summer reading program. That is currently going on. Each year we ask the kids to take the theme for summer reading and design their own bookmark. When they hear the theme, what do they think of? And the friends of the library and the trustees at CDH then vote for their favorite bookmarks, and we reproduce it on cardstock. So all summer long, we hand out the bookmarks that were the winners for the contest. And this year, based on feedback we had last year, we actually have an adult category for the bookmark contest. We had a number of people comment, oh, I'd like to, participate in that as well. So it's kind of fun. People like seeing their work right there at the circulation desk, other patrons taking the bookmarks, enjoying them. We had the county confirm we are reopening the Catherine Dixon Hoffman branch to the public Saturday, May 10th. That's the date. We have planned, I think the local guitarist is going to be playing for part of the day. CDH's trustees are going to buy some platters from the Acme and different refreshments to be served. We have some gift baskets for all ages that people can enter to win. And we scheduled extra staff to help us out that day, anticipating it's going to be a large crowd. So we're really looking forward to that. We have about 70% of the collection back on the shelves. That was what was in our storage space at the Southwest branch. That was moved back last week. So right now, we have our driver, Mark Povolitis. Every day, he's bringing back the books that were stored at the branches. So some days he's bringing back 25, 30 boxes to CDH. So now we have our staff interfiling all of those items. Yeah, it's a lot. Knock on wood, we should be in good shape though for May 10th and have the vast majority of the collection on the shelf ready to circulate. Let's see what else. Yeah, it's still been a struggle with us to maintain our staffing levels. We're losing our branch manager, Kelly Durkin, who has been working both CDH and the Gardner branch. She'll be going back full-time to CDH. We haven't had any qualified applicants for the position. It requires a minimum of 2 years professional experience, and the applications we're getting are from people in library school. They haven't even completed the degree yet, so they won't qualify through civil service for the position. We know we've got 2 retirements coming up, 2 resignations coming up, at least 1 medical leave. So we're trying. All the branch managers have been interviewing people. We've offered the positions to a few people and they've turned us down. It's a tough one. So
Is it mainly because of the pay?
pay is a
scale?
big part of it, and for some people too, because we're open evenings and Saturdays, they don't want to work that. They only want something, during the weekdays, during the day. And we can't guarantee that to anybody. Everybody has to do their fair share of nights and weekends. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. It could be a little rough this summer if we can't find some people.
Not unlike labor problems.
Oh,
A
everywhere.
lot of, it's not just the library.
No. I've spoken with a couple of other departments and they're having the same issue as well. So we're all in it together, I guess, and I just ask the staff to do the best that they can. And then I did want to give you just another update on the Institute of Museum and Library Services. At the end of March, most of their staff was put on administrative leave, and the New Jersey General Attorney has joined in with 20 other states trying to block the dismantling of the IMLS. So there's nothing new from the state library since last month. I know they're trying to go through and prioritize what the top services are that they would keep and then potentially what would get cut. But we still do not know. I think that's just the reality of it at this point. I will say that we are in, I think, better shape than probably most New Jersey libraries because of joining Maine. So we will still have access to a large number of items, even beyond our collection. If we have to go out and purchase some of the databases, I think we're going to be able to maybe get some better discounts looking at the number of libraries that are joining Maine. We can all kind of share that cost a little bit. And I've even spoken briefly with the executive director for Maine. And if it comes down to it, we would probably work out some sort of delivery system between our 2 groups. So again, nothing finalized yet. We don't know what's going to happen, but I just want to make you aware there is the possibility that there could be some cuts coming.
So where is the Institute of Museum and Library Services physically located?
Washington.
Okay, so these are all, and it says most of the staff.
They kept, I think, what I had read is they kept a handful of people.
Because they're anticipating reducing services.
Yeah. It was fully funded under Congress with the budget. I guess I can't even remember
We
when that
won't know
was.
that for.
But there's nobody there to administer any of the services. So some states, I think, I can't remember, like Kansas, I shouldn't say. I know like Kansas, California have already reduced their services. Some states have eliminated their ebook programs entirely. Some have eliminated their interlibrary loan programs entirely. New Jersey is not there yet. The state librarian wants to see,
What's gonna happen?
yes,
And are all public libraries open on Saturday?
no. It varies. In New Jersey, if you want to qualify for state aid, you have to offer so many hours per week. And depending on your population, your service area, it might include weekend hours. But then you have some municipal libraries where maybe it's one staff member.
Right. Okay,
Yeah. So maybe they're open 20 hours a week.
right, okay. Okay, moving down to commissioner comments. Anyone? Comments? And any closing public comments? And again, public comments are 4 minutes, and you'll be able to see where you're at on that right there.
Hi, my name is.
I'm looking at something on French churches.
French churches?
Yeah. Well, because it came up in my daily art.
Oh, there you go.
Well, who recognized him?
No, I don't
Wasn't muted.
I
I don't think
think he's talking to
somebody else.
Sorry, I didn't catch your name, sir.
Glenn.
And did you sign in? I'm sorry.
Where are you from?
My address?
Well,
is-
just your town.
It's Phillipsburg.
Would it be too much to ask if the microphone is there? The last speaker was very good, but I couldn't hear a lot of what she was saying. Could we use the microphone that's on the show?
Yes,
That's right there.
It's not just, I think you have to plug it in.
I would think so, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I can
That's
try that
okay.
more later.
Maybe just, there you go.
It's really hard to hear. They're speaking.
Well, my first question is, have the February minutes been posted?
They were only just signed. They will be posted tomorrow.
Okay, and the March, I thought the March minutes were the ones that were.
No, the March minutes were just voted on, so they won't be posted until after the next meeting when they're.
Okay, all right. And then if I could get a sort of a brief explanation of the purpose of amending the bylaws?
I think we believe they're grossly outdated. It's probably been, what did we say, 2009?
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah, so mainly updating them.
And you said there were some issues that came up, I guess that required legal counsel. Could I get like a brief explanation of what?
I
sort of
couldn't give it
prompted-
to you. We spent hours talking about it.
Yeah, I figured you, like, was there anything that sort of
No,
caught
and we
your?
really shouldn't be having
This
conversations.
is public comment. You can make whatever comments you want, but it's not question and answer time.
Well, then I do have some more questions with the 2 minutes that I have.
It's not a
but
question
You
and
can't
answer
ask
time.
any, so it should be fair.
Yes.
Well, you can ask, but there's no requirement that anybody
Yeah,
answer.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely
Yes.
understand. No one ever has to speak when they don't want to.
Exactly.
So could I ask for a sort of a short explanation on what maybe the status of service sharing with Phillipsburg's branch library, municipal library might be currently?
There haven't been any discussions for several years.
And then congratulations on the Capital Dixon Library opening. That'll be very exciting. You said there's a
Drum circle,
drum circle.
I believe it's at our northeast branch.
Yeah, and then I wanted to know, will there sort of, I guess, how many people do you sort of expect? You're expecting a large crowd, but is there an anticipated?
I don't know off the top of my head, based on occupancy they usually have to put a limit
Mhm.
which is why we ask
Yeah,
people
yeah, I
to
gotcha.
register in advance.
Yeah, do they do that on the website? or-
Exactly, yep,
Alright,
right
awesome.
through our calendar, you can register for events.
And then, between, I wanted to know, is there sort of an anticipated impact on the Warren County Library system based on this IMLS decision?
Again, nothing's been finalized yet, and the state librarian has not released anything yet. But the big services that we use that are funded through the IMLS, which comes down through the state library, interlibrary loan, the majority of our research databases, and we also use technology infrastructure through the state library. For example, we use one of their servers for our site.
Does Maine, the program, not also receive IMLS?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so what we were looking at potentially is what can we do as a group without increasing our fee for joining Maine drastically, but still being able to provide some of those services. I doubt it would be at the same level we currently offer, but it would be something.
Yes. All right, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan Nordell, Belvedere. I'm here to comment as a patron of this branch of the Warren County Library and to speak to you as commissioners of the library. Nothing I say is meant to be personal. I don't know any of you personally, so please don't misconstrue any comments. At the last meeting, it struck me as strange that not only did anyone on the commission attend Maker's Day, but you didn't even know what it was. The commission asked the staff what the Maker's Day was about, as well as what the general age of attendees was, and Jill said elementary school. The next comment from a commissioner was not 80-year-olds then. I took issue then, and I do now. I'm not 80, but it's in my future. I've attended many events at the library for 2 reasons. I support their work and I participate in their programs. Maker's Day is educational for anyone of any age that attends. Lynn, who weaves wool into yarn, was so informative. The man who was making pots out of sustainable material was excellent. And the staff, well, there just isn't enough to say about Alex, Andrew, Mary Ellen, Stacy, Shelley, anyone else I missed regarding their dedication and energy for all who attended. This brings me to what I think is the crux of an issue I want to highlight. When a library commission is made up of political appointees, which you all are, such as yourselves with no experience in managing a library, working at a library, or even visiting an event at the library. It's like trying to understand a foreign language. Every meeting is another training exercise for both sides. How much more cohesive and understandable it would be if the openings on the commission were filled based on applicants' experience, education, and merit. Some of the other commissions in Warren County include the Shade Tree Commission, Youth Services, Mosquitoes, or Recreation. Are these also political appointments? I surely hope that the Youth Services Commission is staffed with people who have experience and passion in that field, and it should be the same for the library. It makes no sense that just because you supported a particular politician during an election, it should result in such an appointment. The executive branch of the federal government is now filled with unqualified people who in some cases will put the entire country at risk. Over the last few months, I've seen people come to this microphone who have applied for the openings on the commission. Some never heard any response to their application, and others were told by the commissioner that he was filling the openings with people who had helped him get elected. Why have an application process if the people with experience and interest aren't even being considered? Warren County elementary schools are among the lowest ranked in New Jersey. And as a taxpayer, particularly in light of the federal defunding of libraries, feel that the Warren County Library Commission should have the expertise it deserves. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
I'm Paul Escalo again from Alamucci. Just a couple of comments. I'll probably make some questions as statements as well. I guess I'm under the impression Maine has been enacted now, or it's on the way?
We are officially members. Our first big change is May 5th. We're joining our catalog with them.
Great. Regarding the museums and libraries funding at the federal level, it might behoove us to start to look at the low, medium, high amounts of impact that we're going to feel when these cuts, or if these cuts come through. I know you mentioned some services that those funds feed, but maybe we need to know what the options are. We need to be able to tell, the county commission, this is how much, a tax increase would be to maintain services, or you have a fundraiser, things like that. So we might need to have a little more visibility into that, so that the public can know what happens at the federal level, what waters down now to at our level. I have to second the commentary about adding qualifications, minimum qualifications, for instance, to commission membership. I think that would be excellent, and maybe something along the lines of what it takes to apply and what to expect when you make an application. Also funds, and I did see that, we continue to kind of touch upon a lot of things. There was a statement issued since the last meeting, I believe. I don't know what the statement's purpose was, but it seemed to continue to say some things that seem to be incorrect or not really valid. And it kind of made the point of, oh, we're not banning books, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. I would much rather be home tonight, with my family. But I've been coming for about 6 months now, because I do get the impression that there's a limitation to what we're able to see is going on. There's seems to be a great limitation on the way to get onto the board. Commentary about obscenity and things like that. I'm thinking maybe the bylaws need to include the prior lawyer. He went over some of the New Jersey and federal laws about obscenity and moving books, is censorship. I think we need some clarity that will help the board and the public understand what's right, what's wrong, before we go down a path of having an argument where I think both sides are a little bit ill-informed of the other side's position. And that's I think where the qualification would really help. There's some background, or maybe there's a training session or something like that. There's some common ground to get people onto the same page. I think that's it. No real questions here for an answer, but appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Frank Short. Oh, we don't need you sign. Oh, you signed before. So I am Julie Bazinski Flores from Hope. And Hope is the not for long standing branch, but it was awesome. Those guys are just great over there, so appreciate that. I guess my comment is thinking about loss of funding from the federal level, and of course, as a board or trustees, you're probably always thinking about costs.
I have been coming over a year now, and from the times of our old lawyer who came to speak to us about First Amendment and what we could and couldn't do without, or what you guys could and couldn't do without the face of a lawsuit. And I know we switched without, I won't get into how we switched attorneys, but we did. We switched attorneys, and now we have an attorney here all the time. And attorneys are not cheap, and if you're good, you're really not cheap, right? And I assume you're good. Why is it that we now have to have an attorney at all of our meetings? Where we, do you know the answer? No.
That's a good question.
Why we have to have an attorney here now, and that is costing us a lot of money. And if we're thinking about funding, thinking about salaries where the money really can be going to help us get and retain staff, why is this expense now coming on to us? And whose decision is that we now need an attorney here? And it unfortunately coincides with how people were brought onto the board, which I think you can see sits fairly or unfairly. It does not sit well with us, or many of us, I don't speak for everyone, on how people got onto the board, and now we have an attorney here all the time. So the visual of it isn't great. I do appreciate the volunteerism. I do appreciate the amount of work. I'm a trustee on a board myself. I understand. But I think these are all things that we should be considering, and considering the optics of what we're putting, what face we're putting out to the county. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Abby Rodever, and my comments are my own. They don't represent the school board of Greenwich Township that I sit on. One thing I find interesting is I'm sure that many of the people who are concerned.
Could you speak up, please?
Thank you. Could you please speak up? Yeah. I'm sure that many of the individuals that have spoken with concerns about those who are appointed to the commission believe in diversity. I'm sure that that's something they consider very important in this day and age. And that also includes the diversity of those that sit on the commission. In New Jersey, our governor, who is a political person, represents the Democratic Party, the New Jersey governor has a lot of power. And as an example, when we talk about the New Jersey Board of Education, all of the individuals that sit on that board are appointed by the governor. And that means that, as they say, elections have consequences. And I might not always agree with the viewpoints of those individuals that are in the position of authority to appoint these individuals, but that is how things are designed. And that is just how things work here. So I appreciate the diversity that we have on the commission. I appreciate people that come with a different point of view. I appreciate the fact that they have different life experiences. And I can also appreciate that people who are ingrained in libraries or have been trained as librarians, whether in a public library or in a school library, they also are trained by the American Library Association most times. And that also has a very political point of view. So I don't find it problematic whatsoever for the individuals that we have on our commission. And when there are different commissioners, I'm sure the individuals that have spoken can also go to them and request that they would like to be on the commission as well. But we have to remember, elections have consequences. I appreciate the work that you do. Thank you.
And thank you. Anyone else?
Teresa Esposito Jackson, Washington Township. So a lot of good comments were already made, and I just kind of want to reiterate a couple, especially because it's frustrating especially about the funding, because these things were brought up at the last meeting. I remember coming up and speaking about the IMLS funding and the threats to funding. I talked about how Director Butcher has explained in the past that if we don't have 6 professional librarians, that we could lose a percentage of our state funding. These are all things that I, not a member of the commission, have been paying attention to and taking note of and following up and doing my own research on. You, members of the commission, who applied to be on this commission, which again is commendable, but it's only commendable if you're taking that responsibility seriously and you're doing your due diligence and you're coming to these meetings prepared. And it just seems time and time again, you don't have answers for us. You're just asking more and more questions to things you should already be made aware of, you've already been made aware of, or you should already be educating yourselves on. So that's really frustrating because again, it was shared at the last meeting that the IMLS funding that went to the state of New Jersey was about $4.5 million. That's a lot of money. And as Director Butcher explained again today, what's at stake with that funding? And I asked you guys to be diligent about that and to think about that. The main purpose of the commission is to manage a multi-million-dollar budget. And it seems like you guys aren't doing that work. You're not taking that work seriously. You're not aware of threats to the funding, whether it's from the federal government, state. You said we're losing a branch manager. Are we going to be losing another professional librarian? Is she a professional librarian?
She's managing 2 locations.
Okay.
One of which is CDH, which is reopening. So
So-
she'll go back full-time there.
So we'd be down to 5 professional.
We'll be at 6 because we just hired a
Okay.
librarian.
Okay, so that's good. But as she already said, again, we are struggling with other hiring. And as it was pointed out, and I said in my letter that I emailed to you guys, is I don't understand why we have a lawyer present at every meeting. Okay, that seems like a gross misuse of funds, especially when we're struggling to hire staff without any clear explanation as to why they're present, when they cost hundreds of dollars every meeting. It doesn't look good because it makes us wonder, what do you still need counsel on? What other things are you considering doing that you need legal representation here at every meeting to tell you what you can and cannot do? That is poor optics. It's poor management of money. This is all, I'm very concerned as somebody who loves the library, who advocates for the library, who's part of a friends group, that I want a commission that is here to make sure that they're serving the library to the best of their ability, not coming to big events, not being aware of big events, not being aware of funding, the very basics of what keeps this place running, and not having a plan when, again, this was brought to your attention last month and still seeming like there's nothing in the works of how you're going to address it and not even understanding what moves have been made since the last meeting is really, really disappointing, especially because we had qualified people who applied to be on this commission and weren't selected. So I really urge you guys to start stepping up or step aside. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ellen Schiller. I live in Blairstown. And I simply just want to respond on the, I guess I'm a little amazed that we're at the point where we do need an attorney at every one of these meetings. And I agree with some of the others that I don't think it's a necessary expense. And with the library's budget, I think if an issue would come up, usually the board will not have to make a decision the same night on that issue. So if the attorney would not be present, you would still have the discussion. You would have the weeks before the next meeting to have a consultation with the attorney without the attorney being present at each meeting. I'd like to recommend that maybe you think about that as an option. So whenever it was changed so that the attorney is here for each meeting, maybe go back and revisit that and see if there would be an effective way just to have that person on as a consultant. And if it would need be that he would be or she would be at the following meeting to clear up an issue that could be that we could hire them hourly for that next meeting, but not every meeting. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I already spoke, but is it possible to make another?
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to make myself visible. My name is Glenn Epps. I'm a reporter for the Express Times and Lehigh Valley Live. I just heard a lot of people here ask why there was a lawyer present at every other meeting. You saw that I made a request earlier for the minutes. I believe they had been delayed by a month because I was asking for February and we're in April. Could you possibly give an explanation? It's not something that's very complicated to do when currently we are in open session. I understand you don't have to speak.
There was an amendment that needed to be made, and it was made and then brought back to this meeting
For the February minutes.
for the signature. So because there's meetings once a month, it's delayed a month, and because that one needed to be amended, it delayed it an extra month.
It was signed they were signed this evening, so then they'll be posted.
Understood. And the public's question about the attorney's presence, I wasn't aware that there was no attorney present at previous meetings. As a resident and as a member of the press, it is sort of curious to wonder, why all of a sudden. Do you have an explanation?
That's what we were told to do.
That's fair.
Who told you?
Sorry, well, that's not my question. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. And sorry to introduce myself so last minute.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Are we allowing second comments, or was that?
One last question. Can you
Well,
give
I
us,
think you need to ask
okay,
the board if you can make another, because you already spoke. Usually it's,
is there an opportunity to understand what the hourly rate is for the attorney? And if you can't give it to me, where would we find it?
That was in the reorg meeting.
It was, I don't have that with me.
Okay.
Is it part of the
posted
minutes?
online?
They might be
It
in the
might be
minutes.
in-
It's in part
I'd
of the
have to
minutes,
look.
isn't it?
Probably in the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
I have to look though.
I think the resolution or the motion has to include that, doesn't it?
I believe it did.
it's online. The January meeting 2025 has all that information.
But you can't give it to us now?
I don't have it off the top of my head.
You don't have copies of, I'm sorry, you don't have copies of minutes with
You
you?
know what, if you want, if you have something to say, you can come up to the podium, but you can go back to the reorganization minutes, and they're online, and you should be able to find it there. Will do. Any other comments from the public? Sorry.
Kelly Nemke, White Township. At the last library commission meeting, a commission chair comment was made and a public comment was made referencing books that, quote, fall under obscene under NJ law, unquote. And in particular, one YA sex education book that was referred to as pornography. I'd like to address that tonight. When books are published as YA, they're intended for 12 to 18-year-old audiences. I first experienced sexual harassment in 4th grade at age 10. Boys at school were pulling my bra straps and those of my friends, frequently commenting on our breasts and bodies in ways that made us very uncomfortable. Since it was happening to so many of us, it was normal to us. We didn't say anything to an adult. We didn't know it was wrong. The next year in 5th grade at age 11, I was sexually assaulted on the bus home from school. There were a few boys who would find moments when I was distracted and find ways to grope me. I hated confrontation and didn't want to be a problem, so I stayed silent. Other girls on the bus witnessed this and also stayed silent because we didn't know any better. We didn't know what to do. This happened almost every single day to me. I'd like to remind you this happened to me before I was a teenager, before I would be in the age range for YA books right here in Warren County. I was very close to my mom. We were incredibly close. We talked about everything except for sex. I had to rely on an inadequate sex education program at school, which mostly focused just on menstruation at the time. The harassment was normalized. I thought it was normal. During high school, the sex ed focus was mostly on STDs and pregnancy prevention, which, to be fair, is better than nothing. But there was no mention of consent, no mention of what healthy relationships look like. But sure, I guess I could put a condom on a banana. So it shouldn't be surprising what comes next. I was a high school senior when I was raped in Warren County, about 3 miles from where I am. With the gap in my knowledge around sex and relationships, I didn't even know to call it rape until I saw a domestic abuse flyer in a bathroom stall at college. I thought that rape was something a stranger did to you in a dark alley. I had no idea my attacker could be someone who I knew, someone who my family knew, someone who we trusted. The first time that I read a more current YA sex ed book, I sat there in my 30s weeping. All of that information was there, plainly and easily explained. If only I had access to materials like that and could experience those concepts in the safety of the pages of a book before I was harassed, before I was assaulted, before I was raped. Perhaps I would have told an adult. Perhaps I would have stood up for other girls this was happening to. Perhaps I would have spotted warning signs and kept more distance between myself and my attacker. Perhaps I would have not felt decades of shame and self-blame for an act of violence that I had no fault in. Perhaps I would have known better how to help friends when they confided in me about their own childhood sexual abuse. Yes, friends, plural. I'll never know. I've since read Let's Talk About It, the book that was brought up last time, and called Smut. That characterization is incorrect. The obscenity law applies to a work when taken as a whole. The illustrations in Let's Talk About It depict a variety of bodies in a straightforward way, clearly not intended to arouse. It covers consent, healthy relationships and friendships, anatomy, STI and pregnancy prevention, gender, sexuality, body image, and yes, sex. An informational source is not porn, plain and simple. Studies have shown time and again that teaching children and adolescents the correct names for body parts and defining consent as sexual assault makes them less likely to be targeted by predators. It also makes them more likely to speak up and get help when something happens. The key is that they need this information before something happens in real life. For me, here in Warren County, that was at age 10. Removing or relocating books that include sexual education material is not protecting children, it is keeping them vulnerable. I don't want anyone else to experience what I did. Knowledge is protection. If anyone here needs a sexual violence resource, rainn.org. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Not seeing anyone else. There is no need for an executive session tonight. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call?
I don't need a roll call for John.
For this. Okay.
We don't need a vote. Okay. She was out here in the
I know.